Creative Scrapbookers, it's Kim here today, and I'm going to share a few techniques that I have used in making this card. It's a Follow Your Bliss card, and we'll be using the Brother P-Touch Cube. We'll be using some Prima flowers and Say It with crystals. We're using Elizabeth Craft dies, and I've got some neat ways to use the dies. Therm O Web mixed media adhesive, as well as their tape runner, which will come out after, and I'm using some Distress Oxide, some more colors than these as well. So let's get started. The background is simply created by brushing on, I'm using these makeup style brushes, brushing on Distress Oxide onto Creative Scrapbooker Superstock. The colors I've chose are Dry Marigold, Spun Sugar, and Worn Lipstick. I typically start light to dark, but it really doesn't matter. But this time we'll save the darker until the end. So very simple. The next thing we're going to use is this Elizabeth Craft Circles die, and we're going to use this as a stencil. One thing I want to show you is if you use a piece of wax paper between your paper and your die, it will make your intricate dies really easy to remove. So I've just taken this out of the die cutting machine. I remove my wax paper, and just from the back I'll remove all the little pieces of the die. And you'll see there's just a layer of wax paper. For this technique I can just leave it on because it won't affect anything that we're doing. And next, what I'll do is take my darker Worn lipstick color, and we're going to stencil over top of it. Then I'll just buff over it. Another fun technique that you can use is to have a non-stick sheet. Take your die, run it through your ink, and just place it down. It's a really fun technique. And there you have it. You've used your stencil as a stencil, and you've also used it almost like an ink stamp by wetting the top and then just putting it over top of your cardstock. So that creates a really beautiful mixed media background. Let this dry, and then we'll move on to some other techniques. We're going to use the Elizabeth Craft dies Flourish and Branches die next, and these will create the background of our floral spray. For these little pieces, we're going to do a similar technique that we did with the background. We're going to just run our little pieces through some Distress Oxide inks. It's okay once your paper has absorbed the color to blot them dry. We're going to use iCraft Mixed Media Adhesive by Therm O Web. It's a great liquid adhesive that is super strong. And just put a few dabs in different places. We're just going to adhere this on the back of the card that I've pre-made, cut and scored. We'll use the Therm O Web tape runner, which opens to the side, which is a little different, but it's great. It stays out of the way. So we are going to have the fun of embellishing now, and I used a couple of products from Prima. I started with the flatter flowers that are in earth tones. They're in sort of browns and peaches and off-whites. And then we will add a couple of the heavier dimensional colors in similar colors that we worked with our inks. And then we'll just add a few, say, with crystals. The final step of our card is to do the little quote on the bottom. This one says, "Follow your bliss." And for this step, we're going to use the P-Touch Cube. This is a machine I've got inside the pink pastel ribbon. That's easy to change just by lifting this, inserting one of the many cartridges that they have. It snaps into place. That snaps back. You have a little window here that tells you what type of ribbon is on the inside, which is a great feature. And then there's a power button right here. Okay, so I'm into the P-Touch Design and Print app, which you download for the P-Touch Cube. We're going to create our own label. We're going to press that button. We're going to press text. And we'll do the same thing here. We'll just capitalize, "Follow your bliss." Done. I like to leave it on auto mode. You can come in and change your ribbon. Mine is the pink pastel, pastel pink with black. Done. I usually just allow this to automate itself, and then we're going to print. Now it wants me to connect my P-Touch. So it wants the green light on. It wants me to connect with Bluetooth. So I'm going to go home and into settings, Bluetooth. And then here's my P-Touch right here. We're going to press that. Now it's connected. We're going to come back to our app. There it is there. Connection is great. It really walks you through this. And then we're going to print one copy and then print. And you can see it coming out here. And this has a cutter on it. We just press that down. And then we're good to go. One thing I do like to do is I like to put my quote on a piece of cardstock just to give it a little bit more sturdiness for a paper craft. This is perfect if you're using it as a label though. You bend it on the back to remove the adhesive, making it super easy to use. We'll just use this little scrap here that's left. I think this would be a beautiful wedding card. It's a fun, easy technique to try. Thanks for watching.